Hi, my name's Elizabeth Marmo, and this is my film review of House of Hummingbird. Released on October 6, 2018, the film House of Hummingbird was directed, produced, and written by Kim Bora as an independent film and was her debut into the filming industry. After its initial release, the film received much positive praise for its cinematography and ultimately won 59 awards, some including the International Jury for the Best Film at the 69th Berlin International Film Festival and the Best International Narrative Feature Award at the 2019 Tribeca Film Festival. Today, the film has had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and in 2020, the film was ranked by The Guardian as number 18 among the classics of modern South Korean cinema. Chosen as the cast, we have Park Ji-hyo, who plays Yoon-hee, the main character, who is a 14-year-old girl from Seoul who's struggling to find her way, and Kim Bae-seok, who plays Miss Kim, her Chinese teacher who helps her change her life. In an interview with Kim Bora, she stated when picking this cast that they were everything that she was hoping for. Going on to what the film is about, I decided to break it up into 5 parts. Specifically here as the introduction, we see that Yoon-hee is struggling with her family. She's very quiet and reserved, and she ultimately has a good friendship with her best friend and her boyfriend. Film goes on, we see Yoon-hee start to make really bad decisions with going to the clubs, smoking, and stealing, which is aiding in her downfall with her family getting worse, her friendships getting messed up, and developing the bump on her ear. It's at this low where Yoon-hee meets Miss Kim, who ends up being the only positive adult influence in her life. While her family is still really bad, she's becoming more talkative. This is before her surgery, but she's still struggling with her friend issues and now her boyfriend issues. It's where we see Miss Kim leave that we see Yoon-hee at her lowest point. In this part, we see her relationship with her family truly struggle as her brother is abusing her. She doesn't have any of her friends back. Actually, more people are leaving her and her boyfriend. Miss Kim not being around is making her really struggle trying to find her place in society and dealing with all the issues that she's been going through at her youth and just in general. And it's also this point where she's recovering from surgery, so she feels the most alone. After discovering what happened to Miss Kim at the end of the film, we begin to see stuff go on the up for her. She's now having a good relationship with her family, she's more mature and confident, and then she has really good positive friendships coming back up. Seeing the warning signs in the film, we then realize that Miss Kim is a victim of the Seongso Bridge collapse on October 21st, 1994 in Seoul. Due to insufficient maintenance on the bridge and other factors, the bridge began to collapse into the Han River, resulting in 32 deaths and 17 injuries. A bulk of the deaths resulted from bus number 16, which mostly contained girls from the Muhak Girls High School and Middle School, shown in the movie as Yoonhee's sister was supposed to take this bus, but missed it due to her waking up late. With this bridge collapsing, it was just one of the many disasters during the modernization of South Korea, causing mass protests and distrust by the public to the government's decisions and actions. As an aftermath of the collapse of the bridge, many politicians and officials were tried and exposed for the corruption, which then led to the resignation of the mayor of Seoul, Lee Won-jung. After watching this film and learning about the events of the Seongso Bridge collapse, it made me think more about what this film has to offer and truly see why it won so many awards. From the view of Yoon-hee, we get to experience a different perspective to traumatic national events compared to other films that we've witnessed in class, mostly focusing on adults. Rarely do we see films that cover these types of events from children's eyes, and these films reflect on the events and effects that they have on the nation's future. Forced to mature from her teacher and inspiration, Miss Kim dying, Yoon-hee is one of the many permanently affected by the collapsing of the bridge and is forced to cope with her death and grief. As death is already a complex experience, seen in the contrast of Miss Kim's mother versus Yoon-hee about her death. When children lack outward expression, that doesn't mean that they're unaffected, but rather find other ways to cope, which we see Yoon-hee doing with Miss Kim's advice about counting each finger individually, ultimately helping her better her life. Having lost the only person who cared for her, Yoonhee represents the large part of the population's youth who suffer from the lack of a parental figure, and how this affected her when she was initially smoking and stealing, but after having Miss Kim's presence, it made her change her ways and see life differently. This film did a great job in highlighting and validating the complexity of the youth who are faced by these traumatic events and forced to cope with it with such young age. Thank you for watching my video.